This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
.45, this is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Lal Mallavarachi, read by Sound Dithavam. Sri Lanka has been removed from the COVID-19 red zone and included in the green zone. The Mahasangha say that teachers should not hold children to ransom and must resume teaching activities in schools. Several teacher trade unions are ready to report for duty. The construction work of the Vamba Ella project will be completed by 2024. The university students who are fully vaccinated with the Sinopharm COVID-19 vaccine will be given a booster of the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine. In foreign news, 5 dead in Norway bow and arrow attack. And in sports, the Kolkata Knight Riders beat Delhi Capitals and reached the IPL final. Sri Lanka has been removed from the COVID-19 red zone and included in the green zone by the WHO and several other international organizations. The coordinator of the COVID-19 Technical Committee of the Ministry of Health, Dr. Anwar Hamdani, says that this decision has been taken after considering the decreasing number of infections and deaths in Sri Lanka during the last few weeks. However, he points out that there is a possibility of being placed in the red zone once again if the public fail to adhere to the health guidelines. The Mahasangha say that teachers should not hold children to ransom and must resume teaching activities in schools. The Mahanayaka of the Kotte chapter, Most Venerable Ittapane Dhammalankara Thera, says that teachers should give up their trade union activities at this moment and think about the helpless school children. The Thera appealed to the teachers who are striking to have an humanistic manner at this decisive juncture. The Lekadikari of the Asgiriya chapter, Most Venerable Dr. Madagama Dhammananda Thera, yesterday said that what teachers should do at this moment is to provide education for children and while doing that try to win their demands. The Venerable Thera said that children who have not been under the control of a teacher are facing a mental crisis due to schools being closed for a long period of time. The Thera said that there is a possibility that the future generation could travel on a wrong path if this trend continues. Venerable Dr. Madagama Dhammananda Thera added that the overall community of teachers should make some sacrifice on behalf of the future of the children. Education Minister Dinesh Gunawardena says that the government led by the President is committed to protecting the rights of teachers. He pointed out the Prime Minister is assured to assist their future development as well. Therefore, he requested the teachers to perform their duties for the children. Meanwhile, the chairman of the Podujana Peramana Teacher Trade Union, Vasanta Handapangoda, said several trade unions are ready to return to duty from the 21st of this month. The Epidemiology Unit of the Health Ministry says 680 more people were tested positive for the virus infection in Sri Lanka yesterday. This brings the total number of confirmed cases of coronavirus reported in the country to 528,415. As many as 491,238 recoveries and 13,408 deaths have been confirmed in Sri Lanka since the outbreak of the pandemic. Official data showed that 23,700 active cases are currently under medical care. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
Get a personal loan for your marriage, education or housing within 24 hours with People's Bank Digital Banking.
The nation-saving Public Voice Organisation urged President Gotabaya Rajapaksa to conduct a comprehensive investigation on all personnel whose names are published in the Pandora Papers. If they are found to be guilty, they should be prosecuted according to the law of this land, the organisation added. The issuance of revenue licenses in the Western Province will recommence operations after a few weeks due to the corona pandemic. The revenue licenses can be obtained for all vehicles except for motorcycles and three-wheelers. The vehicle owners could obtain these licenses after the 15th of this month, and that concludes local news.
Get a personal loan for your marriage, education or housing within 24 hours with People's Bank Digital Banking. People's Bank Digital Banking, your ultimate convenience.
A mother knows the pain of each member of the family. Siddhalepa, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts, and muscular aches and pains. Siddhalepa, the Vidya Mahatmya in every home.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
The Director General of Health Services, Dr. Asela Gunawardena, says that university students fully vaccinated with the Sinopharm COVID-19 vaccine will be given a booster of the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine. This booster dose will be administered to university students 6 months after they receive the second dose of the COVID vaccine. Receiving the Pfizer booster dose will be delayed if university students keep pushing back getting vaccinated, he added. Dr. Gunawardena urged the students to get themselves vaccinated against COVID-19 at the nearest university without further delay, and it came to you in the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
And now in Watch Live.
The Ministry of Education says that the pilot project to administer the Pfizer vaccine to students sitting for the GCE Advanced Level Examination this year within the Colombo district will commence tomorrow. Accordingly, the students who are sitting for the GCE Advanced Level Examination for the first time and second time this year will be vaccinated with all educational zones in the district. The Additional Secretary of the Education Ministry, LMD Dharmasena, stated that students should come for the vaccination program with their identity cards and came to you in Watchlight.
World News.
Making headlines this morning, 5 dead in Norway bow and arrow attack. A UN expert says North Koreans are vulnerable to the risk of starvation. And blaze hits Elgona Film Festival site in Egypt. 5 people have been killed and 2 more injured in Norway after a man used a bow and arrow to attack them. The police first received word of an attack in the town of Kongsberg, southwest of the capital Oslo, at around 1813 local time. Chief Oyvind Aas said a suspect had been caught and seemed to have acted alone. The police will investigate whether it was an act of terror, a spokesman said. Vulnerable children and elderly people in North Korea are at risk of starvation, a UN expert has said. The UN Special Rapporteur on Human Rights in the country blamed international sanctions and a COVID blockade for worsening food shortages. As a result, North Koreans are struggling daily to live a life of dignity, Thomas Ojia Quintana said. He called for the sanctions imposed over North Korea's nuclear programs to be lifted to prevent a crisis. A fire broke out at the site of Egypt's top film festival a day before it is due to start at a Red Sea resort. Videos posted on social media showed a blaze engulfing part of the open-air venue that hosts the Elgona Film Festival before it was extinguished. At least 8 people needed hospital treatment for smoke inhalation. Organisers said only one section of the festival plaza was affected and that the opening ceremony would go ahead as scheduled tonight. To conclude this bulletin of world news, the headlines once again: 5 dead in Norway bow and arrow attack. A UN expert says North Koreans are vulnerable to the risk of starvation. And a blaze hits Elgona Film Festival site in Egypt. That concludes this bulletin of world news.
And now in development news.
State Minister Namal Rajapaksa says the construction work of the Vayamba project to provide an adequate supply of water for farmers in the Vayamba province during the Yala and Maha seasons will be completed by 2024. Under this project, there will be 90 kilometers of new and upgraded canals, including 2 underground tunnels and 2 new earth gravity dams, together with the construction of the Mahakitula and Mahakirula reservoirs. A number of small and large-scale development projects have already been initiated to fulfill the people's pledges outlined in the Vistas of Prosperity Policy Framework and came to you in Development News.
Sports news.
Sri Lanka will meet Papua New Guinea in the T20 World Cup warm-up match in Abu Dhabi today. This is the second and final warm-up match for Sri Lanka. This is the first time the two teams encounter on international level. Rahul Tripathi hit a six off the penultimate ball as the Kolkata Knight Riders overcame a mighty collapse to reach the Indian Premier League final with a thrilling 3-wicket win over Delhi Capitals. Chasing 136, the Kolkata Knight Riders needed 13 of 25 balls but lost 6 wickets for 7 runs to fall from 123 for 1 to 130 for 7 in Sharjah. With 6 needed and facing Ravichandran Ashwin's hat-trick ball, Tripathi astonishingly cleared the rope to book Kolkata Knight Riders' place in tomorrow's final against Chennai Super Kings. It will be the Kolkata Knight Riders' first final in 7 years, having lifted the trophy in 2012 and 2014. That's sports news. We'll look at business news next.
Cash through NSB globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners. From October 1st, 2021 to September 30th, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency through NSB U Trust for 6 months consecutively. Send more money and increase the chances of winning.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The commercial bank has once again been included among the top most admired companies in Sri Lanka in the annual list compiled by the International Chamber of Commerce in Sri Lanka in collaboration with the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants. This is the 4th consecutive year that the commercial bank has been ranked among the top 10 companies in this list, which was launched in 2018. That came to In Business News. Economic news up next.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Cash through NSB globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners.
Moving on to economic news, the government says the Finance Ministry will decide on the timeline to make the upward price revision on fuel after exploring a suitable methodology amidst a looming economic crisis post-COVID pandemic. Trade Minister Bandula Gunawardena said that as the winter season begins, the crude oil prices have skyrocketed by 130% in the world market. Sri Lanka has to purchase it at the world market price. That came to you in economic news.
Weather report.
A few showers will occur in the western, Sabaragama, central and northwestern provinces and in the Galle and Matara districts. Showers or thundershowers may occur at a few places in the Uva province in the afternoon or night. Mainly fair weather will prevail elsewhere. The wind speed can increase up to 50 to 60 kilometers per hour at times in the western slope of the central hills, northern, north central, northwestern and southern provinces and in the Trincomalee district. To conclude this bulletin of news, a recap of the headlines. Sri Lanka has been removed from the COVID-19 red zone and included in the green zone. The Mahasangha says that teachers should not hold children to ransom and must resume teaching activities in schools. Several teacher trade unions are ready to report for duty. The construction work of the Vambala project will be completed by 2024. The university students who are fully vaccinated with the Sinopharm COVID-19 vaccine will be given a booster of the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine. In foreign news, 5 dead in Norway bow and arrow attack. And in sports, the Kolkata Knight Riders beat the Delhi Capitals to reach the IPL final. That concludes this morning's news broadcast.